From disgrace to defiance. 2 seasons after losing everything, Canterbury walked into 2004 under a microscope. Headlines stalked them, critics circled, and every misstep threatened to drag them back under. Inside Belmore, a different story was forming. One about accountability, resolve, and a football team that refused to be defined by its worst day. This isn't a fairy tale, it was a pressure test. We start 2004 not with highlights, but with headlines. So let's face it. February 2004. On a pre-season trip to Coffs Harbour, serious allegations against unnamed Bulldogs players triggered a high-profile police investigation and weeks of front-page coverage. In late April, after reviewing the brief, authorities were advised that there was insufficient evidence. Police confirmed no charges would be laid. Legally, the case ended. Publicly, it didn't. The club still acted on conduct. Breach notices and fines for behavioural breaches tied to the trip. Senior staff changes. Players fronted cameras and were told to let their football speak. The reputational hit was real and it followed Canterbury into round 1. Legally, it ended. Publicly, let's be honest, it didn't. So the question is here, can you play your way out of a scandal? Canterbury smashed Para 48-14 at Telstra Stadium, a clinical reset under a storm of headlines. Sonny Bill Williams, only 18 years old, debuted. Hazem El Masri turned territory into points. A week later against Cronulla, they beat them 24-20 at the showground, proof that the opener wasn't just theatre, it was a process. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. In round 3, the Roosters belted Canterbury 35-0 at the Sydney Football Stadium, a painful reminder that would last for months. After the round 4 bye, the Dogs steadied, beating Manly 28-26 and then the Warriors 24-18 a week later. The lesson? You don't ride form into September, you build it. Across rounds 7 to 12, they went 4-2. They beat South 34-8, they beat the Broncos 25-18, but they were thrashed by Newcastle 32-6. It was okay though because they hit back at the Dragons the next round 38-12. But the hinge came on June the 4th. The Bulldogs thrashed the Roosters 40-12 at Telstra Stadium. The same opponent flipped the script with line speed and last tackle discipline. That night reset the belief and the season's narrative. That night, flip the script. Same opponent, different Canterbury. From here on out, discipline beats the noise. Rounds 15 to 23 turned into a tear. They beat the Raiders, the Cowboys, Manly, the Storm, Sharks, the Tigers, the Panthers, the Cowboys again, and the Broncos. Their pattern, win the middle, finish to the corners, and suffocate with repeats. Tonga, a strike consistent, Mason and O'Mealy breaking through lines, and Nasta and Sherwin owning field position. They were briefly first but settled to second. A trip to Melbourne where they beat them 22-12 set the tempo for the battle to come. Then they slammed the door on Newcastle 52-6 and the Warriors 54-10. With a regular season finish, they came second behind the Roosters, with their setbacks absorbed and their systems calibrated. North Queensland arrived fearless and precise, forcing Canterbury to play from behind. The Cowboys finished their sets better and turned it into a 7-try shootout that broke rhythm. The tape didn't lie. The tempo and the discipline had to lift. The response was ruthless. Repeat sets, edge execution. Jonathan Thurston scored twice. El Masri, Patton, Ryan and Tonga all crossed, with Brett Sherwin kicking a field goal. Melbourne found some moments, but they were drowned under line speed and a territorial squeeze. Statement made, belief restored. Against the defending premiers, Canterbury played the moment. Hazem El Masri completed a hat-trick, Braithen Astor and Rennie Matur also crossed. 5 El Masri goals pushed the margin, and a pivotal Reece West and Simbin swung field position. The Dogs piled on points, decide a set, but at a cost. Steve Price's knee ruled him out, so Andrew Ryan had to take the armband. Price is out, Ryan is in. 80,000 with their hearts in their throats. One game to change the story. The grand final, Sydney Roosters versus the Canterbury Bulldogs. Date, October 3rd, 2004. Venue, Telstra Stadium. Minor premiers, Roosters. Stand-in captain, Andrew Ryan. The opening half went Sydney's way. Their kicking game was sharp and their yardage was clean. They led 13-6 at halftime after tries from Chris Walker and Anthony Melicello. Canterbury needed ruck control and territory or their night would slip. The Bulldogs returned with steel. Sets finished to corners, contact one in the middle, and then the moment. Early in the second half, Matt Utai struck, and in the 53rd minute, Hazem El Masri finished on the right. The video referee checked a potential double movement and awarded it. El Masri's conversion actually misses. The Bulldogs still lead 16-13 though. 16-13. Now it's trench work. Kick to the corners, win contact, believe. Willie Mason, the eventual Clive Churchill medalist, and Mark O'Mealy rolled through the meters. Sherwood and Anasta kicked the Roosters into corners, and outside backs chased like forwards. Sydney poked through Melicello and wing, but Canterbury's line marshalled by Ryan held shape. With seconds left, Michael Crocker broke through the Bulldogs line at halfway. Andrew Ryan, a back rower wearing the night on his shoulders, made a desperate tackle that ended the final raid. Siren, Bulldogs 16, Roosters 13. Mason lifted the medal, and Steve Price in civilian street clothes and his Bulldogs jersey lifted the trophy. Redemption isn't about erasing the past, it's carrying it and winning anyway. When you're at your lowest, you really learn who you really are, and Canterbury in 2004 showed that. They went from scandal to redemption, and they were not defined by that scandal. And believe me, there's plenty more to this Bulldog story, but that's a story for another day. Yo, if you are watching this right now, I'm doing this ad lib off the top of my head, so I want to say thank you for getting all the way to the end of Act 3, and if you enjoyed it, please consider giving us a sub. If you're following us on TikTok, please follow us on TikTok, follow us on YouTube, on Instagram, or whatever, and I'll have more coming, and maybe, just maybe, we might do your team next. How about that? All right, love yous, have a good day.